was not planning on making a Saturday video, but you know what? A lot of you guys wanted me to react to this, so I'm going to react to it. What is up, Finn fans? Hope you guys are having a fantastic Saturday. To all you guys who traveled over to Germany, I hope you guys are having a fantastic Saturday. I think I'm releasing this video at 9 a.m., so it's probably like around 1, 2 o'clock for you guys over in Germany. So I hope you guys are having fun. Looking forward to the game tomorrow. But a lot of you guys have sent this to me to react to. And it's Rich Eisen talking about how Mike McDaniel won players' trust and proved his doubters wrong. And it's about a 7-minute, 30-second clip. I'm going to post the video, the actual video in the description, because I'm obviously going to stop and start it a lot. But a lot of you guys told me to check this out. And some people, even Dan Orlowski, because they're calling the game, right? So Rich Eisen, Dan Orlowski, and I think it's the corner that used to play for the Dolphins. He's on Good Morning Football. His name is completely, it'll probably pop up and I'll usually yell it throughout the video. These three guys are calling the game. So they're in Germany, and a lot of times before the games, the guys who are announcing the games sit down with the players and the coaches and stuff. And Mike McDaniel sat down with a bunch of people and essentially kind of talked about his style of coaching and Tua Tagovailoa and all that stuff. So I'm going to react to his reaction and him telling us what he had a conversation with Mike McDaniel about. And yeah, so sit back, have your cup of coffee if you're watching it when it releases, and pop it up. And it's tiny, right? I don't know how the copyright claims are working, especially I know ESPN isn't as strict as Fox, but he's just talking. It's just his face. So let's listen.
Unbeknownst to anyone in that room, Mike McDaniel was just 20 minutes removed when he said that from wiping tears from his eyes and causing all of us in the room to get choked up also. And let me tell you how that came about.
Please do.
That I asked Mike McDaniel in the meeting, what did he see in Tua that perhaps no one else saw, or the previous people who led us all in the media to think that Tua didn't have it anymore, that he saw something different.
Now, obviously, he's the head coach now. So people who are still doubters, detractors, skeptics of Tua are going to take what Rich Eisen's about to say with a grain of salt, because that's still Tua's head coach. But let's, with an open mind, listen to what Rich Eisen's about to say.
And he went on a soliloquy to talk about how he watched all the film about Tua, and he saw somebody throw 20 different out routes against significant coverage on film. And these are the types of throws that he said make your heart go like this, and he pounded his chest. And he saw somebody that kept on throwing accurate footballs into windows that few players can. And he said that was one of the things that sold him on Tua, that he was an accurate thrower of the football. He was someone that could put the ball in certain windows. And he was somebody who also had absolutely zero fear in doing it.
And he's not wrong. That's not even Mike McDaniel being Tua's head coach and being like, it's my guy, I got to defend him, because I have shown film. I have been that type of person from 2021 till now, telling people that the things that Tua needs to do to prove he's a franchise quarterback, one, obviously stay healthy, but be consistent. Because I myself have broken down film for the past 3 years, showing people he can make the throws. He can make all of these throws. Look at this pass. Look at that pass. Look at this pass. Oh, I'm giving you examples. He's just not doing it consistently. And that's literally what Mike McDaniel's telling the group that was in the room with Rich Eisen, is that he saw these things happen and he saw what could be.
And also had a situation that he was overcoming where a lot of people said that he couldn't, and how his own mother, Mike McDaniel, in his upbringing, kept telling him how special he was, and how a parent telling a child how special he or she is something that is beyond powerful. And the belief that somebody has in them, placed in them by somebody who throws their arms around them, is a power that he knows as a coach he can deliver to every single one of his players, and felt that way about Tua from jump, and said that Tua needed that, and that Tua has thrived amongst the love that he is the rest of he's feeling from his teammates, and also that he had a certain belief in Tua that was unshakable. And I even wrote down what he said, that he had an unshakable faith in Tua, and throwing, love in his direction is something that an only child with no siblings can relate to. And he was referring to himself as that. At which point, Stacey Dales, who was in the room, who's one of our...
I know there's some guys and some fans who like the old style, the hard-nosed style of football, where you get chewed out. You make a mistake, you get chewed out. There's no coddling. There's no, any of that soft stuff. It's football, man. The 80s and the 90s and even the 70s, man. You gotta screw that nice stuff. Screw that da-da-da. You gotta yell at them. You gotta punish them if they do it wrong. That's not the style anymore. Like, Andy Reid isn't like that with Patrick Mahomes. Sirianni isn't with that. I think I said his name right. With Jalen Hurts. Like, you're seeing these young style of coaches who are winning Super Bowls. Obviously, Andy Reid's not a young coach. But you're seeing that style of coaching that are winning Super Bowls. And you're seeing that hard-nosed old style of football coaching not. And it's a different era. And if you have your quarterback and you're just like poo-pooing him and just pushing him down and essentially, oh God, this guy, yeah, man, what? You should have, but it's not going to work. Like, I bet you, now this is a stretch, but Josh Rosen, if he got a chance, if he didn't get casted out because Kyle Murray became available, maybe something different happens there. Not saying all quarterbacks, there's some quarterbacks that just don't have it. There's some quarterbacks that it doesn't matter how much you say you have faith in them, they can do it. They just don't have it. And I can name a few, but I don't want to hurt people's feelings. But you saw it. You saw Tua with Brian Flores, and it's not even just Tua. Because you could say, well, that's because Tua's weak, and that's because that was a narrative that we heard, and it was such a stupid narrative because Tua was coached by Nick Saban. Tua won a starting job with Nick Saban as his head coach. You can't be soft with Nick Saban. But like I said, it's not just Tua with Brian Flores, because Kyle Van Noy came out and said the style it was. Other players have come out and said how Brian Flores was and how they had to walk single file and how Brian Flores liked some players and didn't. But you just saw the joy and the life of football get sucked out of Tua. And then once Mike McDaniel came in, like, he's joking, he's having fun. He's like Rich Eisen said, Mike McDaniel said, he's not afraid to make those throws. So sometimes it ends up in interception. Like, he's on a 7-game streak of throwing picks. But he's fun because he knows I messed up there. Watch what I do now. And he marches down the field, scores a touchdown. It's like, he's like, my bad, I got this. He's got that like courage and that bravado and that, like, I got this. He counts on himself, and sometimes you need that. I know there's going to be people in the comment section who are like, well, that's because he's weak. Well, you don't know what you're talking about.
Sideline reporters said, come on, coach, you're going to make me cry in here. And McDaniel talked about how his love for Tua and how it's an important part of coaching. As he said that many coaches feel entitled to the power that they have, and instead don't relate to the part about coaching, about bringing the most out of all players in the locker room in the small window of time that they have in their careers. And he takes it very personally that it's his job to bring it out of his players. And we were all just looking at him. And as we were driving back, Stacey Dales is like, in all my years as a professional in the WNBA and most of every years in college, I never had a coach who talked about players or loving coaching players like that. And I would have ran through a wall for him. And he talked as well about how he sent Tyreek Hill into the offseason with ideas on how to become better, fundamentals, and the fundamentals to become better. I asked him what he meant by that. And he said he's talked to Tyreek Hill about how he's the fastest player on the field and how everyone really has to adjust to him because of his speed, and to make sure that his routes needed to be run with certain precision and certain concepts defensively that are being played against him. He needs to expect with certain precision so Tua can be ready for Tyreek and vice versa. And I just sat there and thought to myself that a man who's so self-aware of his own upbringing, he said he was, he'd been dreaming of the job of being a coach in the league since he was 4. That somebody who has such self-awareness about himself is creating an atmosphere within that Miami Dolphins locker room and offense about self-awareness of everyone else around in a system that's very intricate, from scheme to motions to timing. And it's all working in many ways because of the atmosphere this guy is creating, which is, I think, the issue many people had with Mike McDaniel. It wasn't just, can he scheme? Of course he can scheme. Is he smart? Yes, he's smart. But how will he coach men in the NFL in a professional locker room environment?
Yeah, that was the biggest thing that I heard. You look at Mike McDaniel, right? He did play football. He played football at Yale. But you look at Mike McDaniel and you're like, how is he going to tell a 6'5", 300 and something pound defensive end, defensive tackle, whatever, what to do? And again, that goes back to the style of coaching. That goes back to the way the coaching is now. It's not about telling them what to do. That was the biggest thing Mike McDaniel said when he came in as the Dolphins head coach is, I'm not here to tell them what to do. I'm here to prove to them that they can trust me. You see it with Tyreek. His best years are with the Miami Dolphins. You're seeing it with guys like Raheem Mostert, who's leading the NFL in rushing and all-purpose touchdowns. You're seeing it with Tua Tagovailoa. You're seeing it with some of the defenders. You're seeing it where he's like, trust me, I'll put you in the right situation. Braxton Berrios is killing it. River Craycraft, when he was out there, is killing it. Durham Smythe is doing really well. He's asking the guys to trust me. I hired Butch Berry. Trust me on this. All of a sudden, the offensive line, doesn't matter who we plug in, is performing. That was Mike McDaniel's big thing. Is I'm gonna just let me show you that I can put you in the right situation and trust me on this one. And these players are trusting him. That's what it's about. It's about mutual respect. It's not about I'm better than you. It's about a mutual respect. I need you just as much as you need me. And let's get this done.
And he's killing it. He's killing it from this point of view, including working 20-hour Tuesdays to install everything. So every player walking in, as we learned from some of the players here this week, every player walks in on Wednesday and not only knows the game plan, but his specific responsibility on game day. So all they have to do is execute it. It's been done by McDaniel and his staff all day Tuesday. I just sat there. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I just sat to myself. I'm like, this dude's got it, and they are ready to roll, for a long time.
That is crazy. I had no idea about that. I had no idea. Obviously, coaches are in that building all the time. Sometimes they'll sleep there. Like Mike McDaniel has said when he first got the job, he wanted to know who his players were, so he would just watch film, and he ended up sleeping there a few times. But the fact that 20 hours on Tuesday to put the game plan together so when they get there Wednesday, they are ready to roll. Well, they're going to figure the offense out. They're going to figure out how to stop Tua, and then that's it. every time I heard that in the offseason, they've already figured out the offense, it always made me laugh. Like, do you think he's running the same exact things every week? Do you think, not even that, do you think he's going to run the same exact offense he did last year? When you have Sherfield going to the Bills and you have all these other players going to other teams, you don't think they're going to bring the, like, it always made me laugh. But this guy, he's getting ready.
And, you know, the rest of the AFC East best bring their P's and Q's when they play him. And I know the Buffalo Bills did. I'm not saying he's invincible, but he's got this thing, you know, in a great direction and all bottled up and uncorked. And he's also a funny dude. Like, he's keeping things light in this locker room. And just having this curtain peeled back for me today with him was really mind-blowing. And, you know, Orlovsky and Jason McCourty were like, that's one of the best production meetings they've ever been in with a head coach. And I just wanted to, you know, bring that to you guys. It really, and wow. One last thing, when we asked McDaniel about why he came to Miami a week and, you know, why he came to Germany with Miami all week and didn't just show up at the end, he said that in ultimate success, you need to run your system remotely, because in ultimate success, that's what you're going to do Super Bowl week. So if your goal is to make the Super Bowl, you don't want your first reps running your system remotely to be the Super Bowl week. You might as well simulate it in a week like this. And we all looked around. We're like, okay, that kind of makes sense, you know, and you can have pretzel bread at the same time. It's pretty cool. Like, the whole thing was awesome.
That's just awesome that he's already mentally preparing for stuff like that. And he, obviously, every coach has that end goal, but it's like, Mike McDaniel seems like he's the type of guy who's getting them prepared for everything. For mistakes, for being down. Like, they were down 14 against the Panthers. Everyone thought the sky was going to fall. 41-21. And it should have been 41-14, if not 42-14. 41-14. I don't remember. But if not for Mike White's interception. I'm not saying we found our guy, but it's hard to look at what Mike McDaniel has done, is doing, and not be excited for the future of this team. But tomorrow, 9:30 in the morning, big game. I will see you guys with my dad. Let's get this W. Let's go into the bye 7-2, and let's have the number 1 seed going into the bye. But other than that, like usual, stay classy. My friends out.